you're going to invest in mutual funds, and it's not going to be within an IRA or a retirement plan, just kind of after-tax mutual fund investing, most mutual funds in the month of December end up declaring their capital gain and distributing their capital gain in dividends. And what that is over the course of the year, the mutual funds kind of accumulate these gains. They sell stock and they accumulate these gains in the fund, and then at the end of the year, they have to make that distribution for tax purposes. So that distribution is taxable income. So you could literally buy a fund, and then 2 days later, they make this capital gain distribution, and you're going to pay tax on it. And so essentially, you're paying tax on money that you didn't make because you weren't there all year. So real often, this time of the year, I have clients hold off, and if you're going to make an after-tax investment into a mutual fund, let's do it. Let's be conscious of when that distribution is going to happen. These funds, most of them have already declared when it's going to happen, how much it's going to be. So you hold off until that's happened.
Is it almost a situation where really investors should think about staying away from the mutual funds in the entire month of December because you don't know when that capital gains is going to hit?
Well, if it's after tax mutual fund investing, then probably not within IRAs or 401ks, for sure. But yeah, I mean, again, the information's out there, so stay away the whole month. I don't know about that, but at least be aware of it. Inform yourself on when that's going to happen.
A lot of people have talked about how, and this has been a common theme for many years now, how important it is to really, if you can, as an investor, try and stay on top of what's involved in your 401k as much as you can over the course of the year. That's obviously tough for some people, and some people just don't have the wherewithal to be able to process a lot of that stuff. It does bring in the relationship that consumers need to have with that trusted investment provider, or I should say a professional, to really help them out. And those conversations need to happen, probably several times over the course of the year.
Yeah, it is important because most 401k companies, and by company I mean the provider of the 401k, they're not going to necessarily give you advice. They're limited to simply educating you on the funds. So they're not going to be proactive and call you up and say, hey, you should move this from there, or necessarily, be real responsive in that way. So yeah, like you said, it's important to have an advisor outside of the 401k who can, stay on top of it for you and incorporate, your 401k into the big picture, with your other investments and give you that advice.
A lot of people know about when you get to that point of your life where you have to take your distributions on your 401k and your investments, about maxing it out. But what about just with the Roth IRA and the rollovers on that?
Well, generally speaking, Roth IRA, you can do, kind of a cutoff point. I have clients, if they're under 40 or 45, I much prefer them to do Roth IRA contributions or Roth 401k if their 401k provides for it.
Yeah.
The reason is they'll end up accumulating a lot more money that'll ultimately be tax-free. So the Roth are going to forego, that immediate tax benefit of the reduction in income, and they'll get it on the back end by having the money tax-free. So at this time of year, a lot of people think about if you have traditional IRAs, you can roll over or convert to a Roth.
Yep.
Just be careful. I mean, you can do that. You're going to pay tax on that full amount. So that full amount is going to be taxable income. But again, if you're under, and there's a lot of considerations. If you're under 45, I think it can make sense. The other benefit of the Roth is, like you alluded to, there is no forced distribution.
Yeah.
Traditional IRAs and 401ks, at 70.5, there is a required minimum distribution that has to come out. The IRS wants to start collecting theirs on this money that's been tax deferred forever. In the Roth, that money can ultimately stay in there, and if you don't need it or touch it, it'll pass to your heirs. What
are some of the things you tell investors out there and just people in general about making a charitable contribution at this time of the year?
Make sure there's different ways to do it. You can certainly give cash. You can give appreciated assets, and the reason that's important, you can give stock, and you'll avoid paying the income tax on ultimately that sale. That income tax burden will fall on who you give it to. But obviously, those charitable contributions are gonna reduce your taxable income, and it's all good. But if you can, depending on the organization, try to give assets that are appreciated, where that appreciation still has not been realized, and you can save ultimately some of that tax on that.